Wukong is currently one of the most popular hunters in Supervive, and even if he looks like having complicated gameplay, in this video we'll see how we can actually play him on a pretty simple way. Starting with his basic attack, which has two different casts depending on if we are holding left mouse button or just tapping it. Just tapping the basic attack is very cool since it can help you track down running opponents, but most of the times you will want to use your holding basic attack. Also, tapping your basic attack while in mid-air will launch a ranged attack that can help you do some poke damage before you engage. Holding basic attack will deal great amount of damage rapidly in front of you, and once you've released it, it will also do a final strike that will deal tons of damage, and it will also stagger minions. Minions that have a purple aura around them can be staggered and they will take extra damage if you use an ability on them. In this case, however, we can simply use Wukong's final strike of his basic attack to do the same thing. As you can see, his farming capabilities are excellent even at level 1. Moving on to his first ability, Dragon Slam, which also has two different ways to use it. If you hold the right mouse button, Wukong will start elevate, and the moment you release it, the indicator of this attack will appear. Then you will have to press it once again to launch the attack. The higher Wukong's position is while channeling Dragon Slam, the bigger its hitbox will become. This means that even if you use in-game elements to gain elevation, this ability will gain extra range and bigger hitbox. Now, as we said, if you hold it, Wukong will stand still and he will start elevate. But if you tap it, you can see that Wukong doesn't lose his momentum and he keeps moving forward. We will use the tapping method on most of our combos, so keep that in mind for later on. In addition, holding right mouse button while over the abyss will allow you to hold your ground without any cost for some reason, giving you the upper hand on air combat. Finally, it's good to remember that Dragon Slam will also give you a shield while holding it, meaning you can also use it as a defensive measure if you find yourself on a tight spot. Let's now move to his dashing ability. Once again, it has two different casts depending on holding or tapping. Just tapping it will result a small dash with lower cooldown, but its real use will be the holding variation, which will make a way bigger dash and also elevate you. The bigger dash, it triggers 1 second after holding shift, but you can also see the Wukong's model flashing when it is fully charged. Now, here we are with the first simple combo. We want to hold shift in order to trigger the big jump and then tap our right mouse button. Since our dash also elevates us, our right mouse button attack will have extra range and larger hitbox. Remember once again that if you hold the right mouse button instead of tapping it, Wukong will freeze in place and he will start charging this attack. You can also use it the other way around by first start charging Dragon Slam and then use your dashing ability while you are still mid-air. Before we move to our next attack, another insane thing about Wukong's dash is that it resets its cooldown every time you climb on a tree. Yes, Wukong can climb trees by simply jumping onto them, and by doing so his opponents will also lose line of sight of him, but that won't be the issue here. Resetting his dash every time he climbs a tree, allowing Wukong to traverse the map at extremely high speed. Not to mention that in combat situations where you might miss your engage, you can just climb up a tree and try again. A small example here on Arena where you can see how fast he can reach the objective, plus there is no chance anyone will escape you when you're tracking him down while trees are nearby. Anyways, let's move to our third ability, which is a lot simpler than the rest of his kit. Ambush/spin attack will first transform you into a tree, and with the second cast, Wukong will start spinning, dealing damage around him. The damage output of this ability is very high, and most of the times you will want to max this ability out first. Finally, his ultimate 6 Monkey Strike will render you immune to attacks for a split second, and then it will create clones of yourself on a circle that will copy the first ability you will use. Most of the times you will want to use your ultimate combined with your third ability, creating a huge AoE, plus with the chaos they will spread, it will also be a very good escaping tool if that's necessary. Apart from that, you can use your ultimate as you see fit at the time. For example, you might want to cast your first ability and have every clone nuking down a single enemy. Or you can use your hold basic attack and start hitting targets inside the circle. But as I've said, most of the times you'll just want to use your third ability for spin to win attacks. Let's now have a look on a complete combo that you can use in real fight scenarios. The simplest combo that you can use is to first hold your dashing ability, then tap your right mouse button and try to stun the target as you engage. Then you can push him with basic attacks, preferably holding basic attacks enough to trigger the final strike. And finally, if you think it's time to escape or if you think it is a good time to do some AoE damage, use your ultimate paired with your third ability. With this simple combo you will be ready to fight in the arena matches where you can practice Wukong's gameplay furthermore. As for his best items, it may be a little bit too early to have a saying on this, but I personally find out that the health items are very strong and very easy to use. For example, if we combine the Essence Reaper Relic, which gives us bonus HP every time we are hitting an enemy player or minion and stacks indefinitely for some reason, with Greenwood Grasp Grip for extra 200 bonus HP at 10 minutes and Titanic Bond for 10% bonus total HP, you will find yourself having insane amounts of health. Imagine how strong this extra HP will feel if you are having a healer backing you up. For an HP tank build as this one, there are also two perks that suits you very well. The Adversity Engine for 2% less damage per enemy nearby, and the Fortitude for extra 60 HP. As for your boots, Bloodlust boots seems to be the better option almost at any hunter for the extra movement speed they provide. Your second relic can be really anything. Last Bite can give you good survivability when you fall under 60% HP. Sword of the Seven Suns will give you good overall damage at cost of some movement speed. Vibe Infusor can boost your survivability on this tank build even more, since you will replenish max HP every time you use dash. And imagine what you can do when you hide nearby trees where you can reset your dash's cooldown all the time. Sunweaver is also good and gives you extra damage after casting an ability. Time Staff will give you huge cooldown reductions. Harmonic Edge counts your holding attacks as different attacks for some reason, triggering multiple times on a single hit. And Ardent Bow will refund some of your cooldown from your dash and your first ability after you engage, making it a very good option as well. And that's pretty much everything you need to know to start playing Wukong Supervive nice and easy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and some positive feedback, subscribe for more relevant content, and see you on the next video.